The Bible weaves together captivating stories that have fascinated and inspired minds throughout time. It carries the wisdom of ancient civilizations, the words of prophets, and the mysteries of the divine. But what if there's something more to these stories? Something beyond what we conventionally understand? What if I told you there's something hidden within these ancient pages? Could the stories in the Bible actually recount encounters with extraterrestrial beings? Well, you're about to find out. Ancient texts speak of strange sightings and celestial wonders that defy conventional explanation. In the Book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes a fascinating encounter with a wheel within a wheel descending from the heavens, and were full of eyes all around. Ezekiel stated, "As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces." What about the story of the Star of Bethlehem, traditionally associated with the birth of Jesus? In the Bible, the way that the star was described might be seen not just as a star, but as a cosmic event, a planetary alignment, or a UFO guiding the wise men. In the book of Matthew it states, "After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed." The passage indicates that the star was initially seen rising, and then it went ahead of the wise men until it stopped over the place where Jesus was, as if it was guiding them. In the Book of Enoch, it speaks of encounters with beings that are not of this world. Enoch is taken on a mysterious journey by God. In the Book of Genesis, it says Enoch walked faithfully with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. God took Enoch on a remarkable journey, revealing to him profound visions and celestial mysteries. During this celestial journey, Enoch is guided by several angels and witnesses the secrets of the cosmos. In the book, Enoch describes witnessing heavenly realms, celestial beings, and the workings of the universe. He is granted insights into the divine plan, the fate of both the righteous and the wicked, and the secrets of creation. Enoch's experiences during this extraordinary journey were so awe-inspiring that he felt compelled to share them with others. Guided by divine inspiration, Enoch wrote down the visions and revelations he received. But here is the most intriguing part: his book was left out of the Bible. If Enoch was an important figure in the Bible, why was his books left out? Well, what Enoch describes about his trip when God came and took him will show you exactly why. Could there be more to these stories? Could they be evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact? Did a distant race of aliens once inhabit the lands of the Bible? And did the ancient writings provide proof of their existence? Well, you're about to find out. Being that God created all things, if UFOs do exist, the truth about them, if revealed, should be found in the Bible. So our search for truth about UFOs begins not with NASA or any government project, or even with the physical and photographic evidence available, but inside the pages of the Bible itself. We are about to dig deep into these stories of the Bible, stories that maybe have been mistranslated on purpose to gain power over religion, so that the original information disappears. So sit back, because we are about to dig deep into the possible extraterrestrial contact in the Bible. I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal. Ezekiel 1:4. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet Ezekiel recounts a profound vision that has captivated the imaginations of readers and scholars throughout history. The book of Ezekiel vividly describes a celestial phenomenon, a mighty windstorm emerging from the north, accompanied by an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The focal point of the vision is described as resembling glowing metal. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not change direction as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. Spread out above the heads of the living creatures was what looked something like a vault, sparkling like crystal. The richness of these symbolic images has led to diverse interpretations, with some speculating on the possibility that Ezekiel's vision could be an ancient account of a unidentified flying object. Proponents of this perspective point to the unconventional nature of the description, such as the fiery appearance and the use of otherworldly symbols. One of the interesting characteristics of the book of Ezekiel as a biblical text is that it is written using the pronoun I, clearly showing it being written by Ezekiel himself as a first-person account. Unlike many biblical texts, texts written in the third person. Ezekiel said the wheels looked like they were made of sparkling topaz and moved in any direction without turning. The rims were high and full of eyes all around. Now, when people talk about UFOs, they often describe similar things, strange flying objects that move in ways traditional aircraft don't, with lights and peculiar shapes. The idea is that Ezekiel's wheel, with its unusual movement and appearance, might be a way ancient people describe something they couldn't understand, kind of like how we might describe a UFO today. In Ezekiel's time, people had different beliefs and ways of expressing things than we do now. They often used symbols and language that were familiar to them to talk about their experiences. Ezekiel, being a part of that time, would have used words and ideas that made sense in his culture. Maybe if airplanes existed back then, he might have said it was moving not like a traditional airplane. Back then, people often saw the world in a more mystical way. They believed in divine beings and supernatural events. When Ezekiel had his vision, he used words and descriptions that matched the ideas and symbols of his time. For example, he talked about a windstorm, a bright light, and wheels with eyes. These were ways for him to explain something extraordinary using the language and concepts he knew. Even if this event happened exactly how it said it happened, people still would have believed that it was an angel, or maybe God himself. Just because of the belief system at that time, anything more powerful than them, they considered gods. Think about it today. When people try to explain UFOs, it becomes hard, and they describe it with just maybe a few words and how it looked. It's hard to accurately describe what these UFOs look like, and we can't really compare it to anything other than maybe an airplane. Maybe this was the same situation back then in the Bible for Ezekiel. There are many documented sightings of UFOs all over the world that speak of the same movements described by Ezekiel. Flashing lights surrounded by glowing metal. Maybe the glowing metal he saw was an orb of light, just like how we have UFO sightings with a glowing metal look in the middle. All we have today to describe that is to say a glowing orb. So imagine the days of the Bible, it was hard to reference anything. So he used words glowing metal at that time. One intriguing perspective on Ezekiel's wheel comes from famous author and researcher Erich von Däniken. In his groundbreaking book, Chariots of the Gods, published in 1968, von Däniken explores the idea that ancient civilizations may have had encounters with extraterrestrial beings, shaping their beliefs and influencing the course of human history. He delves into the interpretation of Ezekiel's vision, suggesting that the description of the wheels in the biblical text may align with the idea of advanced extraterrestrial technology. Von Däniken interprets these details as indicative of a technologically advanced vehicle. He suggests that the wheel intersecting a wheel description might resemble a complex mechanical structure, possibly a depiction of a spacecraft with advanced propulsion mechanisms. The sparkling topaz appearance and the high rims full of eyes are seen by von Däniken as features that could be consistent with lights or windows on a sophisticated vehicle. Von Däniken argues that ancient peoples, lacking a scientific understanding of advanced technology, might have interpreted such encounters in religious or mythological terms, contributing to the creation of religious texts and stories. Von Däniken argues that Ezekiel, lacking the vocabulary and understanding of advanced technology, used symbolic language and familiar imagery to convey an experience that he perceived as extraordinary and beyond his comprehension. The wheels, in von Däniken's interpretation, become symbols of advanced machinery or spacecraft, and the entire vision is considered by him as a possible encounter with extraterrestrial beings. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. Then Herod called the Magi secretly, and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. If this was not a verse in the Bible, what would you think the star was? First, let's start with the three wise men, also known as Magi. The Magi were Zoroastrian priests. The three kings were religious scholars known as these Magi, revered Babylonian astronomers and astrologists. They studied the stars and planets, interpreting the meaning behind cosmic events and other forms of esoteric knowledge, hence the name wise men. According to Matthew's Gospel, the Magi from the east were guided by a star that came to rest over the birthplace of Jesus. Not much is made of the Star of Bethlehem in the New Testament. In 1595, a German astronomer named Johannes Kepler, known for his groundbreaking work in astronomy, made an interesting observation about the star Bethlehem. He discovered a periodic conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, which happens when these planets, from our viewpoint on Earth, appear to come close together before moving apart. Kepler proposed a theory that the star guiding the Magi wasn't a single celestial body, but rather a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. This conjunction, according to Kepler, occurred in the constellation of Pisces in the year 7 BC, led him to suggest that the Magi, being knowledgeable in astrology, might have interpreted this celestial event as a sign of significant importance for the Jewish people. However, this theory faces challenges. The star guiding the Magi would have needed to remain visible for several weeks, yet the planetary conjunctions Kepler identified only lasted a few days. Additionally, more recent calculations have revealed that the conjunction in 7 BC wasn't as close as Kepler initially thought. Furthermore, a closer conjunction happened in 66 BC, which according to Kepler's theory, would have been far too early for the events in Bethlehem. In essence, while Kepler's planetary conjunction explanation is intriguing, it has its limitations and may not fully align with the extended guidance needed for the Magi. Maybe the wise men knew more than was documented in the Bible. Historically, astronomers have posited the hypothesis that the Star of Bethlehem might have been a comet traversing the vicinity of Earth. These celestial visitors from the outer reaches of the solar system tend to shine brightly as they approach the sun, and their visibility can extend for weeks or even months. Historical records from various cultures have documented the appearances of comets. In the year 5 BC, Chinese astronomers observed the arrival of a broom star, an appellation that many researchers interpret as a comet. Chinese scholars were meticulous in their chronicling of comets, even documenting instances where meteor impacts resulted in fatalities. During the 1970s, scientific discourse intensified around the temporal alignment of the Chinese broom star and the Star of Bethlehem narrative. However, an intrinsic challenge arises when considering the comet hypothesis. In antiquity, comets were typically seen as symbols of impending doom, an evil omen of bad things about to happen. So if a comet suddenly started shining brightly in the night sky, it's hard to imagine three wise men would interpret it as a sign that their savior had finally been born. But what if this bright star that the wise men saw was something out of this world trying to communicate with them? When the wise men first saw the star, they said it was following them. The star then guided them to the birthplace of Jesus. If this was an ordinary star or comet, it would have been moving while they were traveling. Instead, the star was described as following the wise men, the opposite direction of the path it was moving, and then rested at the birthplace of Christ. In modern-day UFO sightings, every experience states that the UFO hovers and sometimes follows the individual, and then rests at a certain point and then disappears. Another common theme with UFO sightings is having ongoing experiences after witnessing the UFO. Experiences like dreams, visions. Sometimes people awaken abilities that they never had after these experiences. People sometimes report that they get frequent visits from beings that aren't of this world after these UFO experiences. Now think about this. The Book of Matthew goes on to say, "And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way. Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, 'Rise, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child, to destroy him.'" So according to these verses, the wise men had visions to leave, and Joseph, Jesus' father, also had a vision to leave. Just like modern-day UFO sightings, what if these visions and dreams they had were effects of this star? The wise men were gifted in astronomy and cosmic knowledge. What if they were chosen for a reason because they were the only ones at the time able to relay the message? There are many accounts of people now that frequently channel other beings and have visions of beings from not of this world. These people often have a history in the occult. Same with Joseph, he was also in the house when the star appeared above the location of Jesus, and he also had the same vision. Just like UFO sightings, sometimes multiple people get the same visions. For example, the first known abduction story in the United States was Benny and Barney Hill. They were out for a drive, saw a hovering light and followed it and claimed they were abducted together. Days after, they both started getting the same dreams and visions and seeing the same beings in these visions. Another case like this is the Ariel School in Zimbabwe. In 1994, more than 50 kids were outside playing when they noticed a bright light in the sky. Then land and beings came out and communicated with all of the kids telepathically and relaying the same message. So what can this all mean? I'm not saying that the story of the Star of Bethlehem isn't real. I'm just saying maybe there was more behind this event. As we move on to the Book of Enoch, you're about to see why his book was mistakenly left out of the Bible. Things are about to get deep. Enoch is also one of the three people in the Bible taken up to heaven while still alive, the only others being Elijah and Jesus. We read about Enoch's translation in Genesis 5:24. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. The Book of Enoch is attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, who was said to have been taken up to heaven by God and given a glimpse into the universe and the future of mankind. The Book of Enoch is one of the most well-known examples of biblical apocrypha, dated around 200 BCE, and evidence exists showing that ancient Jews and early Christians were very much aware of it. Today, it is considered apocryphal by Jews and Christians alike, though Ethiopian Jews and some Ethiopian Christians consider it canonical. It is narrated by Enoch about his journey when God took him away. The Book of Enoch consists of 5 sections: the Book of Watchers, the Similitudes of Enoch, the Astronomical Book, the Book of Dreams, and the Epistle of Enoch. The Book of Watchers. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. In the Book of Watchers, Enoch is showed a vision about angelic beings called the Watchers. These celestial entities were initially created by God to guide humanity, but strayed from their divine duties, lured by earthly desires. The 200 Watchers descended to earth, embarking on actions that played a significant role in ancient tales. Enoch describes the Watchers as heavenly beings assigned by God to observe and guide humans. However, enticed by worldly temptations, they abandoned their celestial roles and descended to earth. Shemyaza led this group, marking the beginning of their involvement in forbidden activities. The Book of Enoch narrates how the Watchers shared prohibited knowledge with humanity. This knowledge spanned various skills like metalworking, cosmetics, and astrology, alongside occult practices. They also revealed forbidden secrets, such as using magic to manipulate the natural world. Their inappropriate relationships with human women resulted in the birth of the Nephilim, often described as giants in the Book of Genesis. The Nephilim's existence was linked to legends of superhuman beings and contributed to the corruption that, according to the narrative, led to the Great Flood. The Similitudes of Enoch. The Similitudes begin with Enoch receiving a series of visions in which he is shown the fate of the righteous and the wicked, the final judgment, and the establishment of the Messianic kingdom. The visions are often presented in the form of parables or symbolic narrative. And there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool, and with him was another being whose countenance had the appearance of a man, and his face was full of graciousness, like one of the holy angels. The Similitudes of Enoch reveal a central theme, the coming Son of Man. This mysterious figure, akin to angels and linked to the Messiah, plays a crucial role in the final judgment in God's kingdom. Enoch witnesses the destinies of the righteous and the wicked, highlighting their contrasting fates. Eternal bliss for the righteous and divine judgment for the wicked, stressing the importance of righteous living. Symbolic imagery fills the visions, offering glimpses of heavenly and cosmic events symbolizing profound spiritual truths. Enoch is then given a celestial tablet. The celestial tablets serve as a divine record, detailing individuals' deeds and destinies, showcasing God's all-knowing judgment. The Astronomical Book. And they showed me everything, the size of this cosmos and the size of the cosmos which is below the firmament, and I perceived how the cosmos is poured out, how the firmament is set in the cosmos, and how the stars are set upon it. In the Astronomical Book of Enoch, the narrative unfolds as Enoch is initiated into profound celestial mysteries through a transcendent journey guided by angels. This celestial initiation encompasses a comprehensive understanding of the universe's structure. With Enoch meticulously describing the layout of the heavens, he delves into the intricate movements of heavenly bodies, unraveling their specific roles and functions within the cosmic order. As Enoch's celestial voyage progresses, he bears witness to the dynamic motions and influences of the sun and moon, comprehending the courses they traverse. The revelations extend to the orderly progression of seasons and the cosmic regulation governing these temporal changes. The journey takes an awe-inspiring turn as Enoch encounters celestial gates in the heavens, each vigilantly guarded by powerful beings. Enoch's exploration transcends terrestrial boundaries, leading him to realms that unveil the interconnectedness of the universe. Amidst this cosmic odyssey, Enoch beholds wonders beyond earthly comprehension, witnessing celestial signs and learning about the measurement of time structured upon heavenly cycles. The Astronomical Book is punctuated by profound revelations, with Enoch receiving insights into the intricate workings of the universe. These revelations serve to unveil the divine order that governs the cosmos, emphasizing the harmony inherent in the celestial design. The Book of Dreams. The Book of Dreams in the Book of Enoch portrays the visionary experiences and dreams of Enoch. In this section, Enoch is granted insights into various mysteries, cosmic revelations, and future events through his dreams. The narrative begins with Enoch recounting the visions he witnessed during his sleep. These dreams encompass a wide array of subjects, ranging from celestial wonders to the fate of the righteous and the wicked. One significant aspect of the Book of Dreams is Enoch's encounters with angelic beings who serve as guides and interpreters of the visions. These angels provide Enoch with explanations and interpretations, unraveling the symbolic and prophetic meanings embedded in his dreams. Throughout the Book of Dreams, Enoch receives revelations about the cosmic order, the destiny of humanity, and the divine plan for creation. These dreams often involve symbolic imagery and metaphorical representations that convey profound spiritual truths. Enoch's dreams serve as a conduit for divine communication, allowing him to grasp the hidden mysteries of the universe. A notable feature of this section is the emphasis on the dual destinies of the righteous and the wicked. Enoch sees the rewards awaiting the righteous, including eternal bliss, and witnesses the consequences awaiting the wicked, including divine judgment and punishment. The Epistle of Enoch. The Epistle of Enoch, sometimes referred to as the Letter of Enoch, is a brief yet significant section within the Book of Enoch. This epistle is presented as a message or farewell discourse from Enoch to his sons. Though not as extensive as other portions of the text, the epistle contains ethical teachings, warnings, and predictions. It emphasizes the consequences of moral choices, urging adherence to righteousness. In the epistle, Enoch addresses themes such as the importance of virtuous living, the impact of one's actions on the individual and society, and the divine judgment awaiting all. The text also talks about Enoch's heavenly visions and experiences, and him sharing it with his sons. After Enoch was taken by God, he experienced all of these visions and dreams in which he wrote about. But what could this experience be? When we look at religion, especially in Christianity, it is frowned upon if you have experiences with beings that aren't of this world. What if Enoch had an experience with an extraterrestrial being that guided him and showed him the secrets of the cosmos? When we look at near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences, there are many reports of people meeting God or meeting beings that they felt like they knew for a lifetime. These beings will then guide the individual and show them visions and dreams. There are individual reports of people who met beings when they had out-of-body experiences involuntarily or voluntarily that showed them the secrets of the cosmos, how everything works, and the meaning of life. People often describe having frequent out-of-body experiences, and these beings will guide them and reveal to them secrets and visions of the past, present, and future, and whatsoever they wanted to know. Could it be that Enoch had an experience in which people of that time could not have explained, or maybe they knew and explained it in a way to hide the truth? Again, with out-of-body experiences and experiences with visions, they all have a common theme of the person also frequently seeing the God or gods that they believe in. Enoch was a man highly favored by God according to the Bible. Could it be that it was inevitable that Enoch would have these visions if he had an out-of-body experience? Since he was a religious man, maybe these experiences happened to him in his own way, but when described in the Bible, it was made religious. Could this be the reason why his work was left out of the Bible? Maybe Enoch's experience didn't sit right with the church and the narrative they wanted to put out. Today, if you mention the Book of Enoch in the churches, it isn't accepted and often thought of as not of God. But again, why? It all seems to point to the narrative that the Bible was trying to put out. If anything went against what the Bible was saying, it was either left out or reworded for religion. Who did Enoch meet, and who came and took him away? Do you think the Book of Enoch was an extraterrestrial experience? If UFOs exist, the Bible suggests that God made them, particularly through references to the chariots of God in Psalm 68. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. These chariots are identified as angels and are distinct from Roman or man-made war chariots. They are described in the Bible as ascending vertically into the heavens, having a fiery appearance, and releasing living creatures. Jeremiah 4:13 reinforces the divine nature of these chariots, emphasizing their swiftness, with the verse stating, "Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled." This highlights their distinction and suggests a different celestial nature. Think about it, whirlwind, swifter than eagles. What does that sound like? One further illustrates the Lord riding upon a swift cloud, stating, "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." Why would God need to ride upon a swift cloud to destroy Egypt? NASA footage of circular objects in space with unconventional movements aligns with the biblical narrative, suggesting a connection between these celestial phenomena and divine chariots. The Bible indicates that these chariots serve the purpose of transporting people, as seen in 2 Kings 2:11. where Elijah is taken up into heaven in a chariot of fire. Elisha recognizes it as the Chariot of Israel, emphasizing its divine nature and vertical ascension. Both Elijah and Elisha have been serving together as prophets of God for some time. A number of years have passed since Elijah, at the Lord's command, anointed Elisha as his successor, but now things are about to change. Now when the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven by a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. And Elijah said to Elisha, "Please stay here, for the Lord has sent me as far as Bethel." But Elisha said, "As the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So they went down to Bethel, and the sons of the prophets who were in Bethel came out to Elisha and said to him, "Do you know that today the Lord will take away your master from you?" And he said, "Yes, I know it. Keep quiet." 2 Kings 2. As they still went on and talked, behold, chariots of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen," and saw him no more. Again, if this story was not in the Bible, what do you think could have happened here? Like I said earlier, in the ancient times, they were only able to describe things as they saw it in their own way. Do you think this was an alien abduction? Let's take a look at Elisha's description. He starts again with the chariot of fire coming. Then a whirlwind. He seed him descend in this wind into the chariot of fire, and he saw him no more. Could this have represented something else with the limited language at the time? Ancient people did not have the technological knowledge we possess today, so their attempts to describe extraordinary events might be understood differently in a modern context. When we look at modern-day UFO abduction stories, people often report that same thing. The chariot in the biblical narrative is a supernatural and unusual mode of transportation. In the modern day, we now have the flying disc as the most common sighting, just like the chariot in the Bible. Today, when people witness UFOs, they often describe encountering unconventional and technologically advanced vehicles. When Elijah was taken up, Elisha described that he vertically ascended. Same with modern-day UFO abductions, they vertically ascend into the UFO as if they have no control. The whirlwind could have been the energy felt, the same way people report feeling an eerie and weird sensation when witnessing a UFO or coming in contact with one. When Elijah disappeared into the heavens is the same way described when modern-day UFOs speeds of and ascends up until it disappears. When the sons of the prophet told Elisha that Elijah was going to be taken away, he said, "I know, keep quiet." How did he know? Did he get a revelation or vision? Comparing this to modern-day abduction stories, some individuals who claim to have experienced UFO abductions report having visions, dreams, or premonitions before the actual event. They describe a sense of knowledge, often through dreams or telepathic communication, where they believe they were given insights into their impending encounter with extraterrestrial beings. Did Elisha witness a UFO abduction? While editing this video, I noticed one more thing about these experiences. These encounters in the Bible, again, all have the same description of the whirlwind around the time these experiences happened. Could it be the barrier of language that is causing the common description theme? Throughout history, there are descriptions in ancient texts that resemble what we now call UFO sightings. Bright lights, strange shapes. These accounts, found in the Bible, indicate that people have been witnessing such phenomena for centuries. Today, the term UFO has been replaced by UAP, with renewed interest due to recent sightings and government investigations. Though interpretations of these biblical events may vary, some descriptions align with modern UAP encounters. As society becomes more open to the idea of extraterrestrial life, it's crucial to explore potential connections between ancient texts and current sightings. The parallels between biblical accounts and contemporary UAP events could offer insights into extraterrestrial life, UFO, UAPs, and their potential interactions with humanity. We live in a cargo cult civilization, a tendency to revere or idolize advanced technologies, powerful entities, or aspects of modern civilization without necessarily understanding the underlying principles or reasons behind them. Meaning that whatsoever we see that is more powerful than us, we consider it God. We worship it and make religion out of it. Cargo cults originated during and after World War II in the South Pacific, particularly in Melanesia. The indigenous populations on certain islands, having limited contact with the outside world, witnessed the arrival of military personnel and cargo planes bringing valuable goods, supplies, and resources to support the war effort. As these isolated communities observed the abundance that arrived with the military personnel, they developed a belief system that associated the goods with a divine or supernatural origin. They came to view the military personnel and their cargo planes as messengers or gods who brought prosperity. When the war ended and the military left, these islanders sought ways to attract them, to To replicate the conditions they associated with the arrival of cargo, the islanders engaged in a form of ritualistic mimicry. They constructed makeshift runways, control towers, and other structures resembling military installations. In some cases, they even crafted wooden or straw replicas of airplanes, control towers, and radios, hoping that these replicas would attract the cargo they desired. Statues and symbols played a significant role in their rituals. Some islanders created effigies or statues representing the military personnel. Additionally, they adopted symbols associated with the military, such as the American flag, to incorporate into their ceremonies. These practices were rooted in a misunderstanding of cause and effect, as the islanders lacked knowledge of the advanced technology and logistics that facilitated the cargo deliveries. Consider how we understand things we can't explain. Throughout history, when faced with something new or mysterious, people tend to interpret it based on what they already know from their culture and religion. This happens because our existing beliefs shape the way we see and make sense of the unknown. It's like looking at the world through the glasses of our cultural and religious background. They color our perception of things we can't fully grasp. Back in the biblical days, the stories were the same way. As we reflect on these intriguing parallels between ancient texts, modern UFO sightings, it prompts us to ponder the mysteries that have captivated human curiosity for centuries. The descriptions in the Bible, reminiscent of what we now term as UFO sightings, invite us to explore the possibility of extraterrestrial encounters throughout history. I'm not saying the stories in the Bible are made up for a specific narrative. I'm not trying to disprove any religion or anything. I'm just saying, what if we look at this with a non-biased and logical point of view? There are many stories in ancient times in which the civilization carried down stories of beings from the stars coming down and shaping their civilization. These beings were then worshipped like gods. So what does the Bible say about aliens? Well, nothing really. The Bible doesn't specifically address the possibility of life outside our home planet, but this does not mean they don't exist or didn't exist at that time. It could be that the Bible was focused more on the moral of these stories rather than the actual event. Even though specifically UFOs weren't mentioned, it still does not mean that they didn't exist. If you really look at it, the Bible is absent about lots of things. There's nothing in the Bible about the internet, and yet we know and love it. The Vatican's chief astronomer, Reverend Jose Gabriel Funes, says believing in God and the possibility of extraterrestrial life can coexist. Funes, a Jesuit priest and scientific advisor to Pope Benedict, expressed his opinion that life on other planets is possible due to the vast number of galaxies with planets. He sees no conflict between the belief in extraterrestrial beings, possibly more evolved than humans, and faith in God. Funes suggests that just as there is a variety of creatures on Earth, there could be other intelligent beings created by God, emphasizing that this doesn't contradict faith. He even entertains the idea that humans might be the lost sheep of the universe. Funes encourages improved dialogue between faith and science. Despite believing in the Big Bang as an explanation for the universe's start, Funes sees no conflict between this scientific theory and the faith in God as the creator, emphasizing a purposeful creation rather than a random occurrence. So my question to you is, do you think there was extraterrestrial contact in the Bible? Here's my take. I think that God is within all of us, the same way the cargo cult civilization worshipped technology and beings that granted them food. We did the same thing throughout history. I think that we were shaped by extraterrestrial beings and then worshipped them, dressed like them, and mimicked everything they did when they came down to Earth, portraying themselves as gods. They were aware of their powers over last civilizations. They helped raise society and walked around as gods, but we'll save that video for another time. The God we all seek, and in every holy book, is within every single one of us. We are all gods. Look around at the world and the creations. It had to manifest from someone and something. That manifestation is God. The God we speak of is within every single one of us. We are made of love and universal power. When we tap into that power, we are tapping into God. God is everywhere and everything. I believe that every single thing in this world is a manifestation of God. From a bird in the sky to a grain of sand on the beach. We can bring life into this world and take life. We can control the weather and crops. We can decide who eats and who does not. That God is within us. God is experiencing itself through us and everything else on Earth. Every single thing is alive. The same spark of light and energy that created everything in this universe is within you. That spark is God. So as we come to an end of this video, I want to say thank you so much for watching the whole thing. If you stayed throughout and get to this part, comment something about the video and you'll be selected for this upcoming giveaway. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. YouTube is telling me that 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed, so help me get to 1K subs. I'm almost there. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'm hopeful that it can help open up your mind to explore the mysteries of history. Thanks so much, friend, for sticking around. Until next time, continue to explore the unknown and remember to always seek the truth.